And we're live again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. Nasa episode number 12 na tayo. And ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon is dealing with conflict sa office, di ba? The workplace. Pero meron tayong special guest eh. Pero we're just waiting for him. Pero while we're waiting for him, Chris, what's up?
Yes, good afternoon everyone. Okay, it's afternoon, okay? Naiba yung time slot natin kasi we're adjusting to our special guest. But we have now with us, okay, since our topic is about conflict, we have, of course, Mr. Darwin Rivers. He's the founder of Philippines HR Group. Hi, Darwin.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thanks for inviting me again.
Yes. And then we also have George. He's a management consultant.
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks for
So,
inviting me as well.
he's incidentally in Kuala Lumpur, o, di ba? Social tayo. May coverage daw sa Kuala Lumpur. Anyway, and then we have, okay, the other moderators and admins of HR Shouts, okay, and also some of them are also, two of them are also admins of Philippines HR Group, and that's Pike Conde
Hi, glad to be here.
and si Joy Alos Baños.
Hello, good afternoon, guys.
So, complete attendance limit just for our special
Yay.
guest. So, anyway, so, pag-uusapan muna natin ang conflict. Okay, so, how conflict develops. Okay, and then, so of course, yung palaging nakakatanggap is mostly pag HR, Philippines HR group na page. Okay, so, the advice are people posting in Philippines HR.
Well, the Philippine HR Group was made as an avenue for helping people realize that you can exchange ideas and best practices not only in HR but also all other HR aligned professions. And yes, there are a lot of questions being raised there about problems or conflicts being raised by employees to their employers. And in terms of conflict, kasi for me, it's an ano eh, when you say conflict, it really comes from the emotional state of the person. It's
Mm-hmm.
it, it's an when you say conflict, it's an emotional problem of both parties not seeing eye to eye.
Okay, so ano ba yung mga common na mga conflict situations na nakikita mo sa mga nire-report or pinopost sa Philippines HR? Kasi sa page namin wala masyado kasi puro learnings kami and trainings.
Well, that's a very good question, Christina. No, I believe that we can identify at least 7 causes of conflicts. Number one here is poor communication between management and the rank and file employees. When I say poor communication, hindi alam ng mga tao kung ano ba yung policies and processes ng kumpanya nila. Kumbaga hindi malinaw ang ang discussion from the time that they are hiring and onboarding people. Hindi alam ng mga tao kung ano yung mga karapatan nila, kung ano yung mga proseso ng kumpanya. Kaya dahil hindi nila intindihan, nagkakaroon sila ng conflict between management kasi iba yung iniisip nila. So definitely it's poor communication. Number two would be having incomplete or ambiguous information. I've seen companies kasi na masyadong generalize or masyadong ambiguous yung mga
Mhm.
policies nila na in a sense that they're not able to convey the right messaging to their employees. And or it's very hard for a simple employee to actually understand
Mhm.
um, what the policy is all about. Kasi when you roll out policies, when you roll out processes, what's very important to know is the simpler the better. You should be able to write a policy that even a grade schooler can understand, because the reason why you're writing a policy is for all employees to to understand and for everyone to be on the same page, right? So so that's part of it. Next would be, so I've said poor, having poor communication, having either incomplete, incorrect, or ambiguous information. I think na number three is yung yung sobrang dami ng channels ng escalation, yung hindi
Okay.
alam ng tao, yung hindi alam ng empleyado saan ba siya pupunta. Pupunta ba ako sa sa manager ko, pupunta ba ako sa next level manager. So ano nangyayari, imbis na mag-follow siya ng proper channels because there are multiple channels of
Idol.
communication, what happens is they would normally talk to their fellow employees. Christina, is Idol Raffy there
I
already?
think, yeah, our special
Yes.
guest is here. We have to
What's up?
welcome him, right? So, Nana,
Hello.
Idol, kamusta? Yun, malinaw. Malinaw yung
Magandang
audio.
hapon po.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po sa
other
inyo
than
lahat.
Mr. Raffy Tulfo. Sir,
Ma'am.
so Raffy, we
magandang-
were just talking about conflict. Yeah, yes.
Oh,
So,
okay.
kamusta po kayo ngayon?
Mabuting. Sobrang mabuti. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
pwede magtanong, kamusta na po si Makagago?
Oh, medyo natatakot na ngayon.
Ano daw kahapon yan?
Sir, pinapanood namin programa mo dun sa
Salamat,
Raffy Tulfo in Action. Okay, so nandito po si Darwin. He's the head of Philippines HR Group and he's also a country manager of Peak Outsourcing. It's a BPO company. So he was just elaborating on yung reasons for conflict. Darwin, you were saying kasi yung escalation parang madami pinag-reportan. Ano ba yung pinakauna dapat na gawin kung may conflict? Kanino ba magsasabi, magre-report, or magsusumbong?
Well, dapat sa immediate manager or supervisor kasi dapat talaga ang mga companies meron siyang conflict resolution committee or escalation process na kung may problema sa empleyado, alam ng empleyado kung kanino siya pupunta para ma-resolve yung issues niya. Kung meron siyang hindi maintindihan, alam niya na yung taong ito o itong grupo na to ang magbibigay sa kanya ng pagkakataon na maunawaan yung mga katanungan niya.
Darwin, ano ba itong mga nire-report na conflict? Ito ba dahil sa overtime pay? Ano ba yung mga hindi pagkakaunawaan?
Normally talaga it all boils down to pay and benefits. Hindi nauunawaan ng empleyado kung ano yung nararapat na makuha niya na sa tingin niya ay kulang or hindi siya nababayaran ng tama ng kumpanya or kumbaga alam niya may nalalaman ang mga empleyado na dapat makuha nila ayon sa batas pero hindi nila nakukuha dahil hindi ito nabibigay ng kumpanya. Actually, I've been following Sir Raffy Tulfo for almost 6 years now, and most of the problems that is being na dinudulog sa programa niya na mga magagawa ay talagang issue tungkol dun sa hindi binabayaran ng tama, yung mga below minimum wage, hindi binabayaran yung mga mandatory benefits. I think nagmumula to kasi ang HR kasi dapat first and foremost kailangan alam niya kung na tumutupad tayo dapat sa batas, at least sa minimum requirement ng batas. Kasi kung hindi mo yung matupad, doon magsimula ang reklamo ng mga empleyado.
Okay. So, so Raffy, okay, can you, for the benefit of people watching us now, okay, what was your vision when Raffy Tulfo in Action and your shows, what was your vision when you started out doing this? Parang ikaw yung pinupuntahan ng mga walang masumbungan or the powerless.
Yeah.
Ano yung vision mo?
You almost answered your question. Yun nga, kasi nakita ko napakaraming mga pagkukulang na hindi nagagawa ng ating pamahalaan para sa ating mga manggagawa. So I saw that opportunity na to feel that yung pagkukulang na yan, which is to help them to get justice doon sa kanilang mga minibiting problema. Tulad ng kanina nga nasabi ni Sir Darwin, hindi nabibigay yung kanilang sweldo at yung mga benepisyo at kung ano pa mga hinaing. So, yun talaga ang reason kung bakit ko itinatag yung programang Wanted sa Radyo.
And Idol, I can also
Excuse me.
parang it runs among your siblings na na gumawa ng public service. I think mali pa ako noon, nag-umpisa na kay Ramon Tulfo.
Yes, sir. Tama,
Tulfo.
tama.
So, tapos nagkasunod-sunod na.
Tama. Exactly. Ibig sabihin talagang masugod kayong taga-subaybay namin. Salamat po. Salamat po. Thank you.
Okay, Pike, may itatanong ka kay Idol. Kanina mo pa gusto itanong yung question mo.
Ay, first, Idol, yung sa taga-Uganda, natuloy ba sila ni Derek Ramsey?
Next week, kasi busy lang si Derek Ramsey ngayon. Next week.
Pero pwede ko ma-meet si Derek Ramsey.
Isa sa paparating ko. Why not? Napakabait naman ni Derek. Napakabait niya. Very accommodating siya. Pag bakante schedule niya, willing siya makipag-meet sa kanyang mga fans. Yun yung maganda kay Derek.
Kayo mga boys, sino gusto mo meet niyo?
Ako.
Si Joy. Wala lang camera si Joy.
Sorry, guys.
Pupulo ko kay Raffy mamaya.
Okay.
Sir, yung question ko is, usually kapag may mga natulungan na kayong mag-file ng kaso against dun sa nirereklamo, do you usually get updated kung ano na naging outcome? Kung may nanalo, natalo, yung tinulungan?
Ang style kasi namin is sasamahan namin sa concerned agency yung mga katulong sa kanilang problema. Tinututukan namin hanggang sa mabayaran yung mga nagrereklamong mga empleyado. So hindi namin sila binibitiwan hanggat hindi natatapos yung problema. Hindi yung i-refer namin and then we sit and then wait. No, that's not our style. That's not how we do it. Sinasamahan namin from point A, B, C, D up to Z. Ibig sabihin hanggang dulo, hanggang sa mabayaran sila.
Follow-up question po, Idol. Was there ever parang na-complainant na in-assist nyo and then nung nag-evolve na into a case, it turned out natalo siya?
Wala pa akong matatandaan pero maraming kami mga kaso na kabinbin na hindi namin napakiusapan sa isang agency na supposed to be ayos sa problema. So, dinala sa korte yung kaso. And now, siyempre pag korte na, hindi namin pwedeng pakialaman. We have to wait until sa magkaroon ng desisyon yung korte sa kasong yun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay na. Okay. Thank you po.
There was an episode, I think sa Pogo. Okay, sorry, Pai. So, I saw an episode, it was like sa Pogo, hindi sila nabayaran, I think, and then kino-ordinate ng program ninyo na mabayaran sila. So, I saw that episode. I always watch it on YouTube.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, George, you have any questions for Sir Raffy?
Actually, Idol, yun nga tatanong ko lang kasi madalas napapanood ko rin po kayo. Alam ko, journalist po kayo first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
Ano po ba yung mga best practices na nakukuha na meron kayo sa journalism na pwede sanang ma-practice ng ating mga nagbibigay ng tulong, no? Especially sa HR. No? Kasi alam naman natin that most of these cases, they come to you kasi nga hindi siguro nakasikaso o hindi nabibigyan ng tamang atensyon. Siguro as a journalist din, as a person doing public service for the longest time, ano po kaya ang pwede natin ma-share na pwedeng magaya ng ating mga kasama sa HR service?
To be honest with you guys, wala ako experience sa journalism. Hindi ako graduate ng mass comm or ng journalism. Sa trabaho ko, hindi mo naman kailangan maging journalist ka. Ang kailangan lang talaga is common sense and then the heart to help people who are in need, yung dedication. Pero nung ginagawa ko na itong trabaho ko as I go on with my job, nandoon yung kailangan observe ko rin yung mga ethics sa journalism na kapag meron akong gagawing announcement o i-broadcast ko sa mga susumbong that I have to be truthful, I have to be honest, and I have to tell the person being complained kung ano talagang reklamo niya, ano yung mga dapat niyang gawin, sundin para matugunan yung reklamo nung nagko-complain against her or him. In short, dapat magiging honest kami rin on our part. Sasabihin namin yung totoong complaint nang walang labis at walang kulang.
Okay. To add to that, Joy, may tanong ka? I think it's connected to...
Tina, ako meron.
Yes, sir.
Sir Raffy, tulad nga ng nabanggit ko kanina, I've been following your program for the longest time, and I have heard and saw a lot of problems na hindi lang sa Metro Manila, kundi sa labas ng Metro Manila. Di po ba may mga taong lumuluwas pa ng Metro Manila, lumuluwas pa from the provinces para makapagreklamo sa inyo. Now,
yes.
Would you since pinag-uusapan po natin is causes ng conflict sa workplace, mag-a-agree po ba kayo or ano po ba yung opinion nyo tungkol doon sa sinasabi na normally conflict it's also a cultural and social issue. Nagkakaroon ng conflict kasi maaring hindi pareho ng cultural, social or personal differences ng mga empleyado at ng mga katrabaho niya at ng management. Sa tingin niyo po ba ito'y isang way din kung bakit nagkakaroon ng conflict sa isang kumpanya or kung bakit kinakailangan pa nila na magsumbong sa inyo kasi sa tingin nila hindi sila nagmi-meet eye to eye ng management?
Yeah, tama ka doon. May point ka doon, Sir Darwin. Nagkakaroon ng conflict sa isang work. Siguro magkakaiba silang kultura. Kung halimbawa, para sa isang kasambahay, hindi sila magkakaparehong ugali at expectations ng amo and kasambahay. Now, pagdating naman sa isang workplace, corporate workplace, now it has nothing to do with culture anymore or tradition. It has more to do of yung amo, yung company, hindi sinusunod kung ano nakasaad sa batas. Halimbawa, meron naman tayong batas para sa minimum wage na dapat sundin na hindi sinusunod naman ng kumpanya. At meron tayong batas na dapat meron benefits na binibigay sa mga empleyado na hindi naman binibigay nitong kumpanya. So things like that. So hindi pagsunod sa tamang patakaran na inilaan ng ating pamahalaan ng DOLE para naman sa karapatan ng mga manggagawa na hindi nasusunod. Yun. Kadalasan sa experience ko, marami talaga mga kumpanya matitigas ang ulo. Siguro, nandun na rin yung kultura nila na talagang mapang-apit, mandarambong sila, manduloko sila, dinadala nila sa kumpanya nila. Sa bahay nila, noon pa talaga sila, magaling sila manloko ng kanilang kapamilya. Pagdating sa trabaho, akala nila kung kaya nilang isahin yung kanilang mga pamilya, maisa nila yung kanilang empleyado para sa trabaho. Siguro yun.
Okay, so just to siguro pag hindi, di ba usually dito sa HR, ang nangyayari is may pag hindi ka yung mga na-terminate or mga nag-resign, pag hindi mo nabigay ang final pay, most likely, they will complain. Diba?
Correct. Yes.
Kailangan naman nila yun. Kasi dapat reasonable time mabigay yun. Anyway, Joy, you have a question. I remember you have a question.
Yes, sir, good afternoon po.
Hi, good afternoon, Joy.
Yes, may mga concern kasi ko. I'm also a part-time HR consultant. So
Okay.
I had this experience with the food service industry. I heard from a feedback from an employee nung hindi masunod yung gusto nila because of certain limitation the employer has, ipatutulfo kita. And yes, admittedly, may problema din may problema doon sa company that they're trying to correct pero they don't have enough resources for that. What I'm trying to ask is, do you still entertain this kind of queries na complain kasi hindi nasunod yung gusto nila pero the employer is trying very hard to comply?
Marami akong natatanggap. Thank you for that question, Joy. That's a very interesting question. Yes, marami akong natatanggap na ganung reklamo na kung saan itong complainant sobra-sobra naman yung kanyang gustong mangyari o gustong kunin sa kanyang amo to the effect na para bang pumunta sa akin para makakuha siya ng malaking pera o maperahan niya yung kanyang amo. So nasisense ko naman yan. Pag nasisense ko na yan, hindi ko in-entertain. In some ways, in some instances, pinapalayas ko, pinapaalis ko yung nagsusumbong or hindi ko na in-ere dahil alam ko na ginagamit na ako. Meron pa nga mga times na nagbigay na ng offer yung company at naliitan siya. Pero reasonable na po yung offer na yon. So sabi niya, pag pumunta ko kay Tulfo, itong offer nito, kaya ito madodoble. So pupunta sa akin with the expectation na madodoble yon. Kunya yung amo na settlement, 10,000. Pag pumunta ko kay Tulfo, 20,000 makuha ko. So pupunta sa akin para makuha siya ng 20,000 na kabayaran. Pag nasa-sense ko yon, tinatabla ko.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Saka Sir Raffy, if I remember correctly, pag meron mga ganyang cases, I think you also follow proper protocol na sinasabi niyo sa kanila, doon tayo mag-usap sa tapat ng arbiter, sa tapat ng DOLE or sa tapat ng sa LLRC kasi hindi ka pwede mag-negotiate ng walang DOLE sa tapat mo di ba?
Correct.
So if there are any negotiations that should happen between
DOLE.
An employee and an employer, it should be in front of DOLE or of course the arbiter LLRC.
Yeah, yung nabagit ko naman kasing amount. Halimbawa, nabalitaan ko, sasabihin kasi ng employee sa pag-interview ko na, Sir, meron na kaming kasunduan, babayaran ko na siya 10,000 doon sa mga kulang namin na pangsweldo sa kanya. Kaya yung pumunta dahil gusto lang makuha ng 20,000. So sasabihin ko, totoo ba? Pag sinabi niya, oo, then yun nga, hindi ko siya in-entertain. Pero tama ka, yung ginagawa talaga namin, pagdating sa bayaran, hindi po nangyari sa aming office, hindi kami nakikialam kung magkano. It has to be determined by the proper agency tulad ng DOLE.
So there are expectations from your end that you can negotiate a better bargain in behalf of the employee.
Merong ganong mga iniisip yung mga complainant na akala nila pag pumunta sila sa amin, may pag-negotiate ako. At ang hindi nila alam, allergic ako pagdating sa pera ang pinag-usapan. Pagdating doon sa tawaran, hindi ako may pagtawaran para sa kanila. Ang magagawa ko lang, sisiguraduhin ko na yung employer na nireklamo maobliga magbayad sa kanila through the help of certain government agencies. Pero yun yung doon
magkakatawan. May HR na bang na-complain sa inyo? Okay, yung mga well, this one is mga money matters yun pero kadalasan kasi ang inaano sa amin yung mga power tripping bosses. Nako-complain ba yan sa inyo?
Marami na, inireklamo sa amin HR pabaya, pumupunta sila doon sa kanilang HR para sabihin yung kanilang hinaing, kanilang kontrata, hindi sila pinapansin, tinatarayan sila, hinihirapan sila, hindi sila iniintindi, pinapagalitan sila, etc. Yes, marami ng mga HR personnel na naireklamo sa amin.
And Tina, siguro kailangan natin i-point out na the reason why we have this kind of groups like the Philippine HR group and
HRSW
Whispers is to help our fellow HR professionals to be aligned on what will be the best practices o yung tamang pag-uugali, yung kumbaga yung kung paano yung tamang pag-asista sa mga empleyado, di ba?
Yes.
It's really more of we should not be seen as using our authority na para makapanglaban kasi ang trabaho ng HR bridge yan. Ang HR ang bridge between management and employees. At ito pa
employees.
Ang HR heart yan, puso yan ng kumpanya. So dapat bilang HR, alam natin kung ano yung responsibilidad natin at yun ang tinuturo natin sa ating mga miyembro.
Naghang ata.
Ng HR. Nawawala ba ako?
Boses mo. Naputol.
Akala ko nag-boses lang kayo. Sorry. Anyway, Sir Raffy, how do you handle, di ba madami kang nakakausap, madaming negativity you deal with a lot of these complaints. How do you manage not being stressed?
Oh, yeah, sa my line of work, talagang very stressful yun. Pag medyo mahina yung pagtanggap mo sa mga reklamo inilalapit sa iyo, talagang baka magkasakit ka pa. And it happened to me before nung bago-bago pa ako, palagi ako nagkakasakit. So pumupunta ako sa doktor at nagpapakonsulta ako. Sabi ng doktor, there's nothing wrong with you. Nagpapa-blood test ako, MRI and all. And then later on, malalaman-laman ko pala because of stress. So now, meron akong way how to handle stress. Number one, proper diet, exercise, yun ang mga basic. Natutulog na ako ng tamang oras. Dati, ang sleep ko lang ay mga 4 to 5 hours na yun. I make it a point na makatulog ako at least mga 6 to 7. And then, hindi ko masyado pinapapansin yung mga nakalagay sa social media na kung saan nababash ako kapag meron ko natulungan at yung taong inireklamo, nagbabash, nagsasalita ng kung ano sa social media. So I don't pay attention to that anymore. Before kasi, every single comments binabasa ko at nakaka-apekto sa akin at nakaka-stress yun. Hindi na. So alam ko na kung paano ko i-handle. Kaya medyo bawas na. Meron pa rin stress kaya lang malaking kabawasan din. Alam ko na kung paano ma-handle yun.
Ken, you have a follow-up question?
Tanong ko dito sa lahat. Ano to question coming from our guest na nanonood ngayon. Hi sa mga friends natin watching. Hello.
Hello.
Ito kasi marami na ngayon ang nasa freelancing, yung mga work from home, 'di ba? So, ang tanong sa akin dito is, for those who are under agencies that are working at home, are we protected by the law? Can we complain to agencies that yung mga employers sila are abusive? Tapos ito pa, also, can Dole help us at all?
Ken,
Yun.
may I answer? You have to
Sure.
determine, because I used to be a remote HR for a Bangkok firm. So I was a home-based person. You have to determine first kung meron silang office dito sa Pilipinas, because unfortunately, walang magagawa ang Dole. That's why maybe it's useful to have yung mga informal agencies like Mr. Tulfo's program, kasi kung hindi sila nabayaran, then they can. But still, if their clients are offshore, mahirap sila ipapunta dito sa Manila. Okay, you really have to use force. You have to really use a lot of tactics there. Yeah. So you have to determine kung may office.
Cristina, can I also add something?
Yes.
What the freelancers need to understand, because I've also been a freelancer for some time. Alamin muna natin ano yung agreement mo between your employer at saka sa'yo, kasi merong tinatawag na 'di ba, na home base ka pero full-time kang employee ng kumpanya, at meron din naman tinatawag na independent contractor ka. So magkakaiba yon ng benefits. And in terms of how you see how many people see it, baka kasi ang iniisip nila, maski independent contractor, meron mga benefits dapat yan. It depende lagi yan kung anong kontrata or agreement meron ka dun sa company na kung saan ka nagtatrabaho. I mean, kung freelancer ka, ha?
For me, I've worked with Upwork before. So, wala siyang formal contract. It is between you and the employer. They can end your contract anytime. They can also set your wages. What I can advise is that join the freelancers group. There are lots of freelancers group on Facebook alone, and find a reputable agency here in the Philippines, particularly on the there are a lot, pero I cannot identify them right now. Basta make sure your rights are protected, kasi hindi lahat ma-assure protected kayo in the absence of the freelancer law.
Ako just for me to add, please read the fine print, pag pipirma kayo ng kontrata. When I say fine print, kasi there are agencies dito sa Pilipinas who purport to be local agencies pero hindi naman pala. Wala silang legal entity dito sa Pilipinas. So make sure that when you try to sign a contract, please do yung due diligence na mag-research at alamin no, kung sino itong mga kumpanya na to, para makita ninyo kung ano yung sinasaklaw ng protection na yon. Kasi baka mamaya hindi talaga kayo protektado talaga in the first place, no? So it will all depend on you if you will be agreeing to that agreement or signing that contract. So yun lang, ang parang pinaka tip ko lang diyan, make sure lang to do due diligence, saka alamin lang and read the fine print before signing.
Okay. So Ken, you have a question again?
Yeah, tanong ko kay Idol. Idol, ito fun question
Yes, sir.
lang. Ano yung pinaka nakakatawang episode para sa inyo?
Napakarami. Araw-araw may dumarating kaya wala ako talagang mapipinpoint ang suknaw. Pero marami. At maraming nagbabiral, nagte-trending. Katulad itong pinaka-latest, yung kay Makagago. Yun.
It's all good in the hood, cuz.
Yeah.
Ano yun?
I'm here for ya.
Usapan namin ni Ken kahapon.
Pero
Okay.
Idol, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Paano niyo po pinipili kung ano yung mga cases na ipuput nyo on air? Kasi I understand na meron kayong mga tinutulungan off-cam.
Yes. Marami.
Yes.
Marami.
Opo. So, paano nyo na-determine kung alin ang ipapakita sa YouTube or sa TV and yung off-cam na lang?
Kasi umabot ng up to 1,000 yung aming mga complainants a day. Kuminsan, umabot pa nga ng 2,000. And just imagine sa 2,000 na yan, mga 10 lang ang may papasok on air. Siyempre, kung 10 na yan, pwede mo i-times 2 yan kasi may mga kasama silang grupo. What I mean is, dun sa question mo, paano namin pinipili? Meron kasi kaming screening committee na ini-screen yung mga reklamo to make sure na valid yung mga reklamo nila, to make sure na hindi sila nagsisinungaling, na hindi kami masasabit, hindi kami malalibel, hindi kami mababalikan, na inireklamo na hindi gawa-gawa lang yon. So after thorough screening, na determine ng screening committee namin na ito ay talagang legit, then saka sila isinasalang. Yung iba na nakikita namin medyo alanganin, continue research hanggang sa inaabot pa kami hanggang 5 o'clock. Kapag nabuo na yung research, then it will end up calling the concerned government agencies na dapat sila na makatulong sa kanila, then we give them referral letter. Hindi lang natatapos sa pagbigyan ng referral letter. Once nabigyan namin referral letter, nagpa-follow up kami doon sa agency na pinagdala namin referral letter, and then we expect that the agency na pinag-referral namin na sasagot sa amin at sinabing natulungan na namin yung tao in the process.
Idol, may tanong naman ako. Ano yung pinakamahirap na na-handle mo? Pinaka-challenging sa lahat na na-handle mo na case?
Ang pinakamahirap, o di man pinakamahirap, kasi lahat talaga kung tutuusin mahirap.
Yung mahaba masyado i-resolve.
Siguro mahaba i-resolve, yung mahirap, yung na-challenge yung staff mo i-resolve. Kumbaga, kayo mismo, no? The whole ano.
Marami mga bagay na talagang mahaba.
I guess, Idol, ang sinasabi niya is yung parehong parties may point.
Marami akong
Mahirap
ganun din.
mag-decide or mahirap kumampi.
Marami akong mga ganong cases na it's so hard to determine who's telling the truth kasi pareho sila may mga magagandang punto, pareho sila may mga testigo, pareho sila may mga ebidensya, and yung pala, pareho silang loko-loko. So, paano mabalansin yan? Ngayon, mababalansin na lamang yan kung sino ang pinakagago talaga sa kanila, yun yung itatabi ko, yun yung tutugisin ko. Kasi example, sasabihin itong si lalaki, yung misis ko nangabit yan, may ebidensya ako, papakita niya. Sasabihin ni mister, yan, yung isang kabila may siya, meron din kabit, magpapakita ng picture. So, sino paniniwalaan mo? Sino mali? Sa bandang huli, pareho pala sila nangabit, then sino ang pinakamabigat? Malalaman ko din later, ito palang si babae, mas marami naging kabit kaysa kay lalaki. So kakampihan ko si lalaki kahit na ang nagsumbong si babae. And kung yung sa pinakamahirap, isang sumbong na hindi ko makalimutan, ever, I will never ever forget one complaint na sana hindi na mangyari ito, and I do my best na hindi mangyari ito. There was this complaint many years ago na after that person complained against a policeman, he was shot dead.
Oh.
Because of his complaint to me and then matapos patayin yung complainant, then pinadalhan niya ako ng mga death threat na ako'y susunod niyang papatayin. So, yun talaga ang pinakamatindi sa akin. And to think na yung tao talagang inireklamo kasi mamamatay tao na yun eh. So, tinanggap ko yung reklamo at minura-mura ko pa, pinanggalitan ko at in-refer ko sa PNP, na Polcom, yung reklamo para siya masibak. Nung masisibak na siya, nasuspindi na siya, and then ang next procedure is dismissal na. Pinuntahan niya yung bahay ng complainant at pinagbabaril niya sa harap ng maraming tao. And then sabay nag-message siya na, Tulfo, ikaw na susunod bilang ng maliligayang araw mo. Yun yung pinakamahirap na naging traumatic sa akin yun dahil hindi dahil sa takot na akong susundin niya, akong susunod na papatay niya, kundi dahil kung hindi sana nagreklamo yung taong yan sa akin, hindi sana namatay. Yung ganun ba? And then recently lang pala, may I add, there was this one case also na itong isang foreigner, nireklamo niya yung isang Pinay niyang fiancé rito na pinarahan siya ng pinarahan. So ngayon, siyempre nakausap ko yung Pinay para sinisingil ko siya na bayaran niya itong American, yung kanyang foreigner na boyfriend at ayusin niya kanyang problema. Binash kasi siya ng mga netizen because of that. So nagpakamatay siya. Hindi ako masyado ng konsensya doon dahil bakit? Suicidal naman talaga siya. Prior to that, several times na siya nag-attempt na mag-suicide. Tuwing nag-aaway sila nitong kanyang boyfriend, nag-attempt siya mag-suicide. Palagi siya napipigilan ni boyfriend. So nung inireklamo na siya sa akin dito, yung boyfriend niya, it so happened, wala na sa tabi niya para pigilan siya mag-suicide, nandito sa akin sa Manila. So natuloy yung pagpapakamatay niya. She hanged herself.
Oh, no.
Yun. So,
Well,
hindi
that's
ko naman
tragic.
problema yon. Hindi ko naman problema yon dahil ginagawa ko lang trabaho ko. And in fact, I even warned her na not to do that. I kept telling her na, ma'am, wag kayong mag-suicide kasi parang nagbabanta at magpapakamatay. Yun, yung mga kasong yun, paminsan-minsan, tumatalab din sa dibdib ko.
Oh, well. So, guys, so that's, sa amin naman din when we do our work, when we terminate, medyo tumatalab din sa amin. So that's something we have in common with you. Okay, so any questions? Darwin?
Cristina, I have one. Sir Raffy, you've been handling issues with different companies, employees going to you asking for help and whatnot. And a lot of these companies, medyo ilag sila sa inyo or kumbaga, ayaw nilang nai-interview nyo kasi meron silang tinatawag na reputational risk, di ba? May reputational risk na na nakasalalay doon. Ano yung pwede yung masabi? Kasi for us as an HR, as long as we follow the proper due process, as long as we are able to implement whatever the law requires us and mandated to us and meet the minimum requirements of the law, wala kami dapat ikatakot. Pero marami mga kumpanya ang natatakot na na maisuplong sa inyo. Ano pong masasabi po niyo dyan?
Yeah, first of all, marami mga company na pag tinatawagan namin ay makipag-uusap. So, sinasabi, choice nila yon, hindi namin sila pilitin. On the other hand, pinapaliwanag namin sa kanila, sir, ma'am, kailangan magsagot kayo kasi pwede nagsisinungaling itong mga empleyado at wala kayong chance na maipaliwanag yung side nyo kung bakit ito nangyari sa inyong company. So please, can you please, talk to us. Kami magiging fair naman. So in some cases, pumapayag yung mga employer na resolve yung problema dahil napag-ayos namin sila. So meron yung mga employer na ayaw talagang may pag-usap at nagmamatigas, inuunin namin ang problema just the same. And then later on, napipilitan sila magbayad dahil dito tinatawag the power of social media, nababash sila, nalalaman nung iba pang mga kumpanya or yung mga kakontrata nila, kakliyente nila na balasubas pala kayo, tinatawagan, o nireklamo pala kayo sa Tulfo. Only then, napipilitan silang makipag-usap sa amin, sir, babayaran namin yung aming empleyado. Go ahead, pay your employees. Punta kayo doon sa DOLE, doon kayo magkabayaran. So kung hindi pa sana na social media, hindi pa sana sila magkikipag-cooperate para bayaran yung empleyado.
Actually, that's very important, no. And this is something na palagi kong sinasabi sa group at tuwing meron ako mga talks. As long as one of the things that you should understand being an HR professional is dapat alam mo kung ano yung batas. Dapat papatupad mo yung batas at dapat nagkakaroon kayo ng pakikipag-usap sa mga empleyado kung ano yung paano may bibigay or mag-meet halfway dun sa mga concerns sila. Kasi kung hindi yung ma-resolve sa loob ng kumpanya nyo, maghahanap yan ng sa labas. And most of the time nga, nagpupunta sila kay Sir Raffy para ma-resolve yung kanilang concerns or issues na dapat hindi. Dapat within the company pa lang, na-resolve nyo na. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, dapat meron kayong tinatawag na escalation process or meron kayong dapat a committee na nag-handle ng mga issues na ganito.
Okay, so this is this question is kasi nabanggit ni Sir Raffy yung social media, the power of social media. Kasi each one of us, we have our own companies or we are HRs of our own companies. Are you in favor of having a social media policy to curb yung mga complaints outside to that medium?
Kung doon sa mga matitigas lang ang ulo, yes, kailangan talaga sila ay ma-expose, malaman ng buong mundo to social media na sila ay isang malasubas na kumpanya. Kung yun lang talaga ang paraan na para sila mapilitan na magbayad, why not? Diba?
Mhm.
Kailangan maparating sa social media para naman makakuha ng hustisya itong mga napi natin mga manggagawa. Pero kung yung kumpanya naman ay matino, nakipag-usap na maayos, then hindi na kailangan pang talagang palaki sa social media. There are times na off-air sinusolve namin yung problema na hindi na social media. There are times naman, yes, na social media dahil nagbayad sila, ay napupuri namin sila. After na mabayaran yung empleyado, then we go back and then we thank them off-air, pinapasalamatan namin sila, and then pinupost namin sa video yung ginawa nilang pag-resolve sa problema ng mga magagawa, they get the full credit.
Okay. So, there's a question kasi most of our work, kasi like Ken is a trainer, I'm a trainer. So, it's an issue of ownership or copyright, I think. Okay. So, reselling this, kung kunin yung aming material tapos i-resell and we want to, well, syempre nadehado kami. Can we go to you about this? And what are the, paano ba mag-complain sa'yo, Sir Raffy? Paano kami pupila? Pupunta kami sa TV5.
Yeah, usually gano'n naman talaga. Pila, mahaba-haba nga lang. Pero ang pinaka magandang punta na hindi mahabang pila, usually on a Friday. Pero pag Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it should be a big no-no for people like you or busy people na walang time para pumila. Iwasan yung Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, medyo mahina, mababa yung volume ng tao. So, pwede lumipat. Pero pumunta. Pero yes, unfortunately, kailangan talaga pumila dahil kung hindi, mababash naman ako. Sabihin, yan, hindi namin nakita sa pila yan. Palip yan, mukhang mayaman yan, hindi pumila yan. Bakit nyo in-entertain? Mababash naman ako. Doon.
Okay, so we have to follow yung procedure nila. Anyone who can...
Sorry. There are times na, okay, ang exception lamang, halimbawa emergency, may mga OFW nanganganib yung buhay nila. So what happens is, tumatawag sila sa social media, nagpo-post sila, nagiging viral, nakakarating sa amin. So, in-action na namin yun kahit na walang pila kasi life in that situation yun.
Okay. So guys, any more questions?
Cristina, I don't have any questions kasi mukhang nasagot naman ni Sir Raffy, mukhang aligned naman kami. From my end, ang masasabi ko lang is, I think mag-agree si Sir Raffy na mas bilang HR or bilang HR leader, mas matutulungan natin sila, Sir Raffy, kung yung mga conflict ng mga empleyado, yung mga hinaing ng mga empleyado ay na-address natin sa ating internally and being able to ensure that we resolve this workplace conflict bago ito lumabas. Kasi 'di ba mas marami pang problema na pa pwedeng matulungan si Sir Raffy, eh, 'di ba? I'm sure
Mhm.
Sir Raffy, napakasaang sabi niyo nga, you have more than 2,000 um, complainants a day. Pero if you imagine if HR would uh, stand up and do their work and be able to manage uh, workplace conflict, mababawasan yung mga magpupunta kay Sir Raffy kasi kumbaga mas mapagtutuunan niya ng tulong yung mga talaga nangangailangan na hindi work related. Kasi tayo ginagawa natin yung ating trabaho para ma-resolve yung mga issues na normally inilalapit sa kanya.
Alam mo, kung ginagawa niyo yung trabaho niyo, mga HR, ako po ay magpapasalamat sa inyo kasi less work para sa akin yan. Dahil 80% po na mapupunta sa akin ay work-related. Only 20% yung family, personal. 80% talaga work-related. So kung ginagawa lang sana, kung ginagawa lang sana ng ating mga HR, yung kanilang mga trabaho ng tama, then sana kukunti lang mga complainant ko.
I think
So happen, ibig sabihin, marami pa rin mga company o mga taga-HR na hindi sumusunod sa patakaran ng ating DOLE.
So, I guess bumabalik tayo dito sa yung pinag-uusapan natin, Darwin. We have to write a very good and clear company policy. Para kasi kung may questions doon, 'di ba? And then also yung HR kasi when I came into this field, I decided not to be a desk HR. Alam mo yon, yung nasa desk lang kayo tapos hindi kayo dapat umiikot kayo sa company ninyo, and then you have to also parang conduct a series of orientations about the company policy para very, very clear kung ano yung stand of the company on certain issues. Okay. So, George, do you have anything to add? Hi, George. Okay. Pike, being in operations, any questions? Kasi si Pike operations person siya.
Yes, siguro it's following what was said earlier na kailangan clear yung communication sa employees. I think it goes with management also. Kailangan may transparency and you manage the perception of the people. How you manage kung paano nila ipa-perceive yung mga directives mo as a leader. So, yun. Yung maging clear tayo kung anong goals and kung paano natin ma-achieve yung goals na yun. You can't expect people to just meet this goal without really guiding them kung paano nila maririnig.
Okay. So, guys, any more questions to ask Sir Raffy?
Ayun, sa akin. Basahin ko lang, hi sa mga friends natin na nanonood ngayon live. And basahin ko lang yung mga comments nila. So, sabi ni Abby Papa, Tito Raffy, kamusta po yung gout ni Odette?
Meron pa rin.
Hope she gets well.
Yeah.
Tapos, sabi ni Kai, hi, Sir Idol. Sabi ni, ayun, natanong natin yung kay Mapi, hi, Melissa Profeta. Si Joy Gonzaga, hi. Chichi, hello. Tapos kay Liz, hi, Idol. Tapos karamihan ng tanong kanina in regards nga sa mga virtual assistants saka mga work from home. Kasi nga parang concerned nga sila na parang sakop pa sila ng law kung sakaling may mangyari nga. Pero at least nasagot na naman na yung questions kanina. Salamat sa inyo. Tapos teka lang ha. Blessy, hi Idol, hi. Tapos pa-shoutout daw kay Eunice Arpet. Yan. Tapos sabi ni Chichi, maraming salamat daw sa mga insights. Sobrang solid. Tapos may question pa dito, teka lang, itanong. Sabi nga ni Olera Magpantay, tataas na ang number ng tao tuwing Thursday and Friday.
Oh no.
Ouch.
So,
At least alam nila kung anong araw maluwag.
Oo, diba? Solid. Ito may tanong si Kai pero alam ko nasagot na niya. Sir, question lang. in your line of work, do you feel afraid of your life din po? Kasi mabibigat na tao minsan ang involved. How do you handle it po?
Of course, I'll be lying to you if I tell you na hindi ako natatakot. Natakot din ako, tulad ninyo. Kaya lang namamanage ko po yung fear ko. Siguro through experience, alam ko na kung paano ko i-handle pag meron dumating yung time na meron ko nakabanggang malaking tao at nakatanggap ako ng death threat. At isa nga doon, kumukuha ako ng security. Pag meron ko natanggap ng death threat and then I arm myself. Meron akong license gun na I carry all the time. So nakakatulong yun to give self-confidence na para siyempre meron akong panlaban ng sabayan kung sakali man dumating yung hindi inasahan. So nakakatulong yun.
Okay po. Okay. Siguro ito, isa pang question from our audience kay Abby. Hi, Abby Papa. Sabi niya, Sir, siguro this is a question for everyone then here. Sir, paano po kapag the employee may concern sa boss niya and feels niya na wala siyang malapitan na HR personnel sa company nila? Ano po kaya yung dapat niyang gawin?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Concern about the boss.
Parang may problema siya sa boss niya pero hindi daw siya makalapit sa HR ng company nila. Ano yung dapat gawin kung sakali?
Ipatulfo niya.
Yan.
Yun eh. Yun yung mga pupunta sa akin madalas. Ganon. Yung hindi pinapansin. KSP sila. Kulang sa pansin sa kanilang mga amo na pupunta sila sa amin. Pag pupunta sila sa amin, pinapansin namin sila.
Okay. So ito, mga pabati na lang to. Patapos na naman tayo, guys. So, hi Idol Raffy, sabi ni Justin. Kay Rainiel, hi din. Ella, yan, si Justin, si Kai, hi Idol. Yan. Yun, guys. So, Chris, any more questions?
So far, wala na naman. All our questions have been answered by Sir Raffy, but we have to ask him, Sir, so what's next? Okay, what's new with you for 2020?
Wala naman. Gagawin ko lang yung palayong ginagawa. Hanggat merong pumipila dyan at nagreklamo sa akin, I'll just gonna be here. Pag nawala na yung pila, wala na rin ako. Ganun lang kasimple yun.
Okay. Pike, any question?
Request lang kay Idol. Batiin nyo naman yung HR groups namin sa show nyo.
Yes, why not? Sige, padayo sa amin. Sabihin nyo kay Chris. Batiin ko yan. Araw-araw, no problem.
Okay. So anyway, so we have our session. I mean, we've answered all the questions that we collected. So Idol, we collected all their questions and asked them now. Okay. And then, sir, ito na lang last question. Pwede bang magsumbong ang HR sa inyo?
Kung kami yung inapi.
Empleyado. Pwede naman.
Kami.
Pero hindi pa nangyari yun eh. I'll give an example kung paano ba.
Kasi palagi kami
Oo nga eh.
Oo nga, di ba?
Yung HR magsusumbong kung halimbawa merong isang empleyado na nangaharas sa kanila o binabastos sila, binabantaan sila, yun, pwede yun. Yung HR magsusumbong sa amin.
Idol, kasi may mga cases na yung HR, alam naman niya yung gagawin dahil alam niya yung nasa batas, kaya lang yung may-ari ng kumpanya, dinidiktahan siya na, halimbawa, i-terminate na yan. Pag sinabi ng HR na kailangan ng due process, ayaw naman ng may-ari.
Sumusunod.
Totoo yun.
Parang naiipit sa dalawang bato yung HR.
Sorry, kanina naputol, hindi ko na-catch up yung
Idol, yung halimbawa merong HR, alam naman niya yung gagawin dahil alam niya yung nasa batas, pero yung may-ari ng kumpanya na walang alam sa labor, dinidiktahan siya kung anong gagawin.
Sumusunod lang siya.
Sumusunod siya. So halimbawa, sinasabi ng HR na entitled tong empleyadong to sa due process, pero yung may-ari gusto ngayon na i-terminate.
Nangyari yan. Buti na bakit man. There was one instance, I think not only once, I think quite a few times, na nagsumbong yung ilang security guard against sa kanilang security agency. So nakausap ko yung HR. And so sinabi ng HR, yun nga, yung kasi patakaran namin company. Sabi ko, yung patakaran inyong kumpanya, baguhin nyo dahil may ipit kayo dyan dahil may batas tayo tungkol sa labor. And then, later, malaman-laman ko, nang tanongin ko sa HR, ikaw ba nakakatanggap ka rin ba ng 30-month pay mo? Hindi nga po eh. O, sabi ko, pumunta ka rito, magreklamo ka sa akin kasi hindi ka nakakatanggap ng 30-month pay. Eh, wag na lang po. So, maging yung HR, may problema din. Gusto siya magreklamo, kaya lang hindi siya pwede dahil part of management siya.
Well, saklap yun. I mean, I'm not making fun of the HR. It's just that, di ba, pag employed ka kasi, syempre, maiipit pa between the manager.
Saka takot din si HR na
and the employee.
ma-terminate
So,
ni employer
any
kasi
questions?
to clarify, ayaw din minsan ni HR, kahit gusto niyang tulungan yung tao, may limitasyon siya as far as management prerogative is concerned. So mapupuwersa siyang gawin yung hindi dapat. We know that firsthand.
Right. Totoo rin po yun. They can only do so much. At kung minsan tali ang kamay nila, gusto mo nilang gawin o tulungan yung kanilang empleyado at naawa sila, eh kaya lang meron ng utos yung kumpanya na ito yung dapat sundin, may patakon yung company, then it's the fault of the management, of the higher management, no longer the HR. So, tali ang kamay ng HR. Nangyayari yun madalas.
So, I guess that's all the questions, Ken. No more questions?
Okay na. Nagpasalamat na tayo sa mga friends natin.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Sir
Sir
Idol,
Raffy.
maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you, mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, guys, we're we're wrapping up. So, anyway, for next week, our topic would be explosion with using principles from martial arts with Ali Sulit. That's on February 6th, and we will be back on our regular time slot at 9 p.m. Okay.
9 p.m.
How about you guys? Anything to plug?
Anything that you'd like to add? Darwin, Pike, Joe.
Darwin.
Siguro before Sir Raffy joined us on the discussion a while ago, I mentioned that workplace conflict is really more of an emotional issue. We've discussed a while ago that the cause of conflict is poor communication, ambiguous information being given, multiple levels of delay in terms of providing informations. Nabanggit kanina yung cultural and social differences, improper use of authority, and then yung lack of fairness in the company. Lahat ng to, all of these can be resolved if we are able to have proper channels in place between the employees and management, and HR should be on top of that by creating the right process where employees can tell management what are the issues, and management can take an action. I always believe na ang problema sa kumpanya hindi dapat lumalabas. Naniniwala ako na it's a failure for HR if our employees go out and seek external help just to resolve issue. It's our responsibility as HR to be able to address those concerns, and if not address those concerns, at least be able to provide the proper guidance to our employees. So that's it from my end.
Actually, dapat hindi nga being from operations, actually dapat the department nga lang yung masettle na before it gets to HR.
Tama ka ron, Pike. I agree. Leadership is also important sa workplace. Kasi lahat tayo, all leaders should be mini HR managers, di ba? Para dun pa lang naayos.
Yes. I agree that there should be a process in place to hear out grievances. I also want to add the open door policy. Kung with the case of the HR na hindi siya makalapit doon sa doon sa employee na hindi makalapit sa HR because yung boss niya is somewhere in between HR and him, he can go directly to the HR. He should not be afraid to approach HR. And also, I believe in the whistleblower policy. I've seen a couple of policies when I'm doing my research on creating policies for other companies. It should be in place. It protects the employee from people getting back at him or her. This avoids bullying at its finest. Unfortunately, we have a culture wherein inclusion is important. There's no such thing as individuality. It should stop somewhere.
Ako, very interesting yung sinabi rin ni Pike kanina, yung how do we protect ourselves from employees who threaten us. Ewan ko, Darwin, meron ba sa PHRG na parang, I don't know, way for us na para rin magsumbong yung mga HR na nati-threaten ng mga empleyado?
In terms of threats being sent to HR people or leadership, it's part of the job description. It's part of our it's part of our role. You just have to be the better person always. You just have to be the better person who would understand that this kind of conflicts can be resolved by proper communication.
Yeah.
And in terms of where to go, again, I would always say this: workplace conflict should always be resolved within the workplace,
Yeah,
and
agree.
not outside the workplace.
Okay. Yeah. Ako naman kasi when on a personal level, I always tell people it's controlling how you react to a situation. Kadalasan granted naman nagkaroon ng misunderstanding. I think the first resort should be like to talk to the person concerned rather than talk to another person tapos kakalat na yung chismis, yung mga ganun. So if you are in a misunderstanding or if you are in that situation, well, try to stop yourself from being emotional first, or calm down, and then think of like what happened, and then is this something that you can talk to the person about, or do you need to really go to HR? Kasi madami rin naman na mga pinagkakaabalahan ng HR. Ito ba ay against company policy or a personal riff? You have to distinguish that. Yon. Kasi 'di ba, hindi naman sa lahat ng bagay we can complain. In fact, as you know, we were talking to Mr. Tulfo, what he does is weed out din nila kung sino yung 'di ba, sino yung nagsasabi ng totoo, sino mas credible, and then sino yung mas seryoso, and then in the hierarchy of their yung may threat sa buhay and then OFW. So they have their priorities. So I think that if we do find ourselves in that situation, just pause for a second and then, try to analyze kung ano ba tong klase na to, ano ba yung nangyari sa'yo, kung yung masamang nangyari sa'yo, ano ba yan? Okay. That's why, Ken, mahirap yung tinanong sa'yo, meron siyang problema sa boss niya, hindi niya sinabi yung details. Hindi natin alam kung konting slight na misunderstanding lang yan, may personality clash, or it's a sexual harassment case. Mahirap sagutin yun.
Cristina, I think that's the reason why part of the workplace or a conflict resolution process is to have a regular program of focus group discussions one-on-one between the leaders and their team members, kasi importante yun hindi malalaman ng leader or ng HR kung hindi nakakausapin yung mga tao. Kailangan nating intindihin na meron talagang mga tao na na hindi sila comfortable na lumapit kaagad, or kung ito yung mga introvert personalities, di ba? Hindi sila agad makapag-open. And I think that's the reason why the core value of HR should always be integrity. Kasi pag meron kang, if you're high in integrity, people will trust you, people will be able to be open to you with regards to their issues and concerns, and you'll be able to help them.
So, being open. Ito na kayo sinasabi natin na no judgment, or sinasabi natin open door policy, so people can just go to your office, maybe have a cup of coffee, di ba? Just vent, di ba? No judgment. So, actually, napupuno ang schedule ko dyan. Okay? But it's part of it. So, anyway, guys, any additional insight?
Yeah, insight lang in regards to managing conflict. Generally, kasi since what I do is more on persuasion and negotiation, malaking factor din yung tonality ng boses. Okay? So, kunwari, nangyayari na yung conflict. Napapansin natin na may isang tao, siyempre, kumukulo na, yung boses medyo tumataas. Okay? So, malaking factor yon na kung ikaw yung nagagalit, you have to notice then yung how you communicate, because naapektuhan yung kaagad yung mga tao sa paligid mo eh. As a hypnotist naman, meron kami tinatawag na go first principle. For example, ikaw yung leader ng company. So as ikaw yung leader ng company, tapos may nangyaring conflict, tapos ikaw yung unang nagpanic. Tingin mo ano yung mangyayari dun sa mga naka-follow sa'yo. 'Di ba? Nakasalalay sila eh. Yung emotions sila nakasalalay sa iyo, ikaw yung leader eh. Ikaw yung tinitingnan nila eh. Tapos ikaw yung nagpanic, what would happen? Panic na lahat. Okay? So, in regards to managing then yung energy mo, you have to be aware of it. Lalo na pag nandun ka sa conflict, as much as possible, maintain a peace of mind, okay? Yung calmness mo na, teka lang, ano lang tayo dito? You have to manage the emotion eh. Pag nag-peak yung emotion mo, nawawala yung logic mo eh. Okay? So, yun yung palagi kong inaayos. Kuwari, nag-handle ako ng kailangan ko pagbatiin yung dalawang tao. I have to check, teka lang. Hindi ko tinitingnan kung sino yung mas tama o sino yung mas mali. Tinitingnan ko, teka lang, paano ko mamamanage yung feelings itong dalawa so that they could talk easily. Ako yun muna kaagad. Kasi mainit, hindi sila makapag-usap kahit anong gawin nila eh. Emotions eh. So, ang goal ko muna palagi is to lessen the emotion so that they could talk logically. So, sa akin, that's just my opinion on where I'm coming from. Wala ako sa HR eh. So, pero in regards to conflict negotiation, yan. Araw-araw yan. Ganyan. So, yun lang. That's just my insights in regards to this episode. And it's a very nice episode. Everyone here is so cool, so good. And dami natin natutunan dito.
Okay. So anyway, Darwin, okay, thank you. Okay, we very much appreciate your support to this session, and we learned also a lot from you. So Tulfo fan ka pala, mas matagal ka pang Tulfo fan sa akin. Okay. So yun. Anyway, and then this is like the team, okay? So we have Ken, we have Pike, we have Joy, and we have George, and of course me, okay? So we are HR Shouts and Whispers. Okay, so thank you for the support, Darwin, of Philippines HR.
No worries. And I've actually prepared something kanina, yung list of
go.
How to resolve conflicts. Siguro I'll post it na lang for the benefit of the fellow HR people who stay tuned to the program and would like to know more about how to resolve conflicts. I'll make sure to post it at both at HR Shouts and Whispers and also the Philippine HR group.
Yes, very good. Okay. So it was such a fruitful afternoon with you guys, and stay tuned. Okay, so we have lots of podcasts. So immediately February 6th, we have Ali Sudit, and that's using yung martial arts principles, because he's a martial arts champion. So we will learn from him how to use those principles to fulfill or reach our potential. Okay. Solid. Okay. So, bye guys.
Bye.
See you on the next episode of HR Shouts and Whispers, episode number 13.
Question.
Sige,
Yeah.
pahabol.
Bakit ako naging host? Wala naman ako sa listahan
Because you're a moderator of HR Shouts and
Wala
Whispers.
ako dun
Oo. I-edit natin.
Edit namin, bigay namin yung picture.
Sige.
Matagal
Message
matagal nating pinost, in-announce to kasi we were collecting the questions from people. So, 'di ba habang nagko-confirm tayo, naglalagay tayo ng picture. Parang kami. Actually, we're so happy about this episode kasi this was like 2 weeks in the making.
Okay.
Tagal eh. Alright, guys. Have a great night. Good night.
Alright.
Bye-bye.
Bye.